Pistons. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Great job. Great game from beginning to end. Detroit played their brand of basketball. They played Detroit basketball. One thing that you have consistently heard from me over the course of this channel, especially over the course of this year and the back end of the season, is Detroit has to play Detroit basketball. Offensively, move the ball, play within the system, play unselfishly. Let the shooters get off, dribble handoffs, post ups, Tobias Harris, Cade Cunningham staying within the flow, being great within the flow, Jalen Duren being offensively, Asar Thompson and Ron Holland hitting the offensive glass, right? Then on defense, hard-nosed, physical defense, diving on loose balls, giving great energy, hitting the glass collectively as a team. This was a great game, great win for the Pistons. The only asterisk I would put on this game, and it does need to be mentioned, we are almost dead even. We out-rebounded the New York Knicks by 1 rebound. And we have to keep in mind the Knicks sat Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby. 3 very physical defenders who have length, a lot of experience. I don't expect the same type of flow that we saw tonight in the future in this playoff series against the Knicks. If I'm honest with you, I think what we are going to see is the rotation that started is going to be their bench rotation. The guys who are coming in off the bench probably won't even see the game. They probably going to be in the game. And these are the tactical moves that coaches make. They're getting prepared for the playoffs. What Tom Thibodeau wanted to see was how do his bench guys measure up against the starters of the Detroit Pistons. This was an advantage that he was looking to create. How do I get Deuce McBride? How do I get Precious Achiuwa, Landry Shamet? How do I get these guys very comfortable and familiar with what the Detroit Pistons might bring in terms of physicality, shooting, denying the dribble handoff, which they did a great job of in this game. And he wanted to see how they put pressure on the Detroit Pistons defense. They did, for the most part. They had a great first half. And then in the second half, Detroit Pistons came out and turned the water off, turned that faucet off. All those threes that were dropping, all those transition opportunities, all those wide open shots, getting the mismatch in a pick and roll situation, then getting to where they wanted to, all that got turned off in the second half. And one of the major adjustments that I have to give head coach J.B. Bickerstaff of the Detroit for is something I've been saying. Simone Fontecchio should be done for the season. He should be completely out of the rotation. But more than anything, if you have a hot hand, if you have a guy who's playing well, who is imposing his will, helping the team to win, you have to roll with him. You have to keep playing him. You have to allow him to continue to keep that momentum going, to keep impacting the game, to help the team win. 3 times in the past, Ron Holland would have been having a great game. And then he sticks with his regular rotation where Ron sees maybe 5 minutes in the second half. And Simone Fontecchio plays 6 completely ineffective minutes out there, and it wastes an opportunity, one, for the development of Ron Holland, but also to help the team continue that momentum to get a win. Ron Holland had an extremely effective game. Everything he was doing out there showed me he was locked in. He understood the assignment. He understood his role. And he was completely demonstrating why he was such a talent that we drafted him where we did in the first place. His athleticism, his ability to get to the rim, his ability to get on the glass, get out in transition, and to be a switchable defender were all on full display. He was able to guard 1 through 4 in this game, from Precious Achiuwa to Jalen Brunson to Mikal Bridges to Landry Shamet. When they would run pick and rolls, he was able to switch with it the whole time. All right, and this is something that I hope J.B. Bickerstaff really took of, that Ron Holland should completely have Simone Fontecchio's minutes in the playoffs. Period. period. I know we have a back-to-back tomorrow night against the Milwaukee Bucks. If I'm honest with you, I would want to see him either rest his starters or keep their minutes low and then go with a strong bench lineup. Give a lot of minutes to guys like Ron Holland. Give a lot of minutes to a lineup of Dennis Schroeder, Ron Holland, Malik Beasley. I mean, if you want to do Fontecchio, sure. And then Isaiah Stewart. But I want to see those being a strong sense of chemistry more than anything with Ron Holland. Ron Holland needs to be able to continue to familiarize himself with that bench unit's offense, especially within the half court. His ability to cut off the ball, whether it was baseline for the dump off, to be in that dunker spot, to cut in from the wing, from the weak side, to catch the ball, whether it was catching the ball and immediately attacking gaps and looking to get to the rim, the more he can himself in the offense by moving without the ball, the more effective he's going to be within these playoffs. Because the reality is we're not going to be running plays for him. He's just not there yet, and we haven't built that into the offensive system. He plays without the ball, the better for this team. Now, one thing that I wish I'd seen some more was Asar Thompson and Ron Holland. I wanted to see both of them in the game. I wanted to see what that perimeter defense looked like in terms of when you have athleticism and size. Once again, I completely believe that they can make that because I think Ron Holland shoots the three ball well enough. He's not going to pass up a wide open three because he's got that confidence, especially in that corner spot. But guys like Isaiah Stewart, guys like Dennis Schroeder, showing that they can make a major impact on the defensive end. And when you have that type of a defensive unit with Asar Thompson and Ron Holland and a shooter at the attack, you should be able to create a lot of turnovers. And that is going to be a major, major impact in a playoff series against the New York Knicks, who are going to have probably one of the toughest defenses. If they get set up, if they are able to slow the game down, they are going to be extremely physical, present a lot of length, a lot of size, a lot of physicality. Now, I know Cade Cunningham had it rolling. I will say, Cade played like a superstar. He literally played like a superstar. This is what superstars do. They impose their will. They're able to be efficient, score when we need them to, and make the correct. And that's what Cade Cunningham did from beginning to end. But more than anything, like I've been saying, score within the flow of the offense. And that's what Cade did masterfully in this game. He was able to get off the ball, allowing Dennis Asar Thompson to bring the ball up the court, catching it at that free throw line mid-post, running the dribble handoffs, spinning, getting his man on his backside, getting to his sweet spots. Remember how I was telling y'all he needed to find a shot that was going to be his go-to shot, that he could know that he could get off and get an efficient look each and every time. And it's been that little free throw line, that little 10 to 15 foot jump shot, either a jump hook, turn over the shoulder, away, a little step back. But that little mid-range area is money for him. Paul Pierce used to have a similar game right around that area. Kobe Bryant and Paul Pierce, both of them made it famous. Jordan too, right? But a lot of have learned that from that position, you can orchestrate a lot. And it's harder for the defense to double team because no pass is far away. Every pass that you can make if a double team comes is an easy pass that you can quickly get the ball there. And from that, they have to completely turn their back to their defender. The defender who's helping has to completely turn their back to the man that they're guarding in order to help. So from that position, you can maximally impact the offense. What Cade did today. Now, a couple things that I want to point out. Asar Thompson did not have a great scoring game. He got to the free throw line 4 times. Well, 2 times. He hit 3 or 4. Great job. 75%. Great job. But something that was underrated in this game was his ability to get to the basket. Even though he wasn't finished. Even though he wanted, and I think he will finish. But he was off in terms of his touch around the rim. But I'll say this, almost every single time he drove to the basket and missed, what happened right after that? Either Jalen Duren or Cade Cunningham were able to get in a tip in behind him, and they were able to score. He ended the game at a +7 because he was impacting the game. Even if he was missing, he was breaking down the defense. That is one of the major advantages Detroit Pistons have over the New York Knicks is athleticism. The athleticism to get to the rim, to raise up over the top, and to be able to score over the top of their defender is an extreme advantage on this team. Now, I did say before that one thing that I am concerned about is the New York Knicks going big. If they start a lineup with Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns, that can spell trouble for us, which is also why we need to play more minutes with Asar Thompson and Ron Holland. Because if both of them are in the game together, creating covers and getting out in transition, it's a way to supplement your offensive production and increase your offensive efficiency. When you have the ability to get wide open layups and to be able to score at the rim, not only is that a high percentage shot, but it also allows you to get easy baskets that then preserves your energy and continue to play hard defense. And on top of that, when you do that over and over again, as we saw, it sucks a lot of the energy out of the opposing team because they're coming down trying to score. They're in a rhythm and all of a sudden turnover and you score. Then you're right back playing hard defense because you didn't waste a lot of energy on offense. A lot of times we don't think of it in that way. We think that offense, this side of the basketball where energy is not utilized, but it is. It is. And so it's really important that we maximize our ability to score efficiently on the end so that we can make sure we can get back on defense and get set and create turnovers. It was good, Ethan. The energy Ron brought was huge tonight. Facts. It wasn't just, man, it's hard to explain what focused energy does on the team. When you have a lot of veterans on the team, guys who've been in the league 6, 7, 8, 9 years, these guys are not going to be diving on the floor, right? Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, even guys like Precious Achiuwa, right? They're going to give effort, but there's a certain level of effort that really just comes from youthful exuberance, like straight up. There's a certain level of excitability to go after that ball and get down the court that generally veterans do not do. Now, Dennis, he's in a contract year. Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., they're in contract years, which means they have to show every bit of effort to maximize their value for any team that's going to think about signing them in the offseason. They're going to play with that exuberance. But for the most part, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart kind of plays like that anyhow. But like I said, Towns, Mitchell Robinson, these other guys, they're not going to be doing that. And that leaves an area, a margin for the Detroit Pistons to maximally exploit. If they can get those 50-50 balls, if they can get those offensive rebounds and the tip outs, if they can do the closeouts, if they can, they are switching and hedging hard and getting back, right? Getting deflections and tips, right? Jumping those passing lanes. If they can do those energetic plays, they will be able to an extent, to overwhelm the New York. But I want to see more Asar and Ron Holland together because I think together they're going to be able to really impact that perimeter, especially when they learn to stay down on Jalen Brunson. When they're playing great defense, the Knicks really are kind of a 1-2 trick pony. It's Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. If you're playing great defense, that means great effort. You're talking defensively. You're in the right places. You know the game. When you're playing in that way, Mikal Bridges, the Knicks kind of lost track of him in the second half. But it's to say that outside of Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, only two that you're really looking at to say they're going to create offense. And as I've been saying, and New York Knicks fans should know I've been saying this over and over, Karl-Anthony Towns is not it. He's not it. If there's one X factor risk for the New York Knicks to get beat by the Detroit Pistons or allow the Pistons to make it, meaning get to 6 or 7 games, it's going to be Karl-Anthony Towns. It's going to be Karl-Anthony Towns. He's a liability, whether it's on defense or on offense. All of his talent, ability to be able to score, all that stuff, his inability to focus, his inability to make good decisions in the right moments is going to increase that window, that margin of error for the Detroit to be able to make this a series when the playoffs start. Yo, what's going on? D-Dubs. Big up, man. What's going on? Yeah, man. This was a great game. It was a great game. But I am concerned about if I'm honest, I am concerned about the rebounding. We barely outrebounded the Knicks, 35 to 34 rebounds, barely. And when we look at who the Knicks sat, Mitchell Robinson, big time rebounder. OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, big time rebounder. I would like to see JB Bickerstaff experiment more with more size on that perimeter. And this is why I'm saying if Asar Thompson comes out the game, you have to put Ron Holland in behind him. You cannot go with this small lineup of Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Dennis Schroeder. You just cannot do it. You are too small, not on the perimeter to be able to contest shots, but you're too small to help the other bigs bounce. Because remember, we don't have a big, tall rebounder on the interior to be able to consume all those boards. And Duren did his job. Ended the game with 13 boards, 18 points, had a great game. He was aggressive pretty much the entire game, right? And he was able to be very effective offensively and on the glass. But outside of him, the next biggest rebounder was Ron Holland with 5 in 20 minutes, which was great minutes. Great minutes for Ron Holland. And then you have Asar Thompson, who had 4 rebounds in 21 minutes. And then you had rebounds from Tim Hardaway Jr., but only 2 from Tobias Harris. And this is the thing that a lot of teams struggle with. When you're guarding Karl-Anthony Towns out on the perimeter, a lot of times what that ends up being is that it's hard to defensively rebound. It's really hard to defensively rebound because you're guarding him way out at the three-point line. And when the shot goes up, even if it's a dribble handoff and someone else is shooting it, your big is too far from the rim to control the board. And so you have to rebound collectively. And so this is something that I want to see more from the Detroit Pistons, but it's going to be a chess match. And at least we saw today JB Bickerstaff willing to make an adjustment in terms of the rotation, which is something I've been really begging for. I've been begging for it. Please get Checkio out the way. Yes, thank you. Man, Ethan, man, you stole the words right out of my mouth. Fontecchio won't really be in the playoff rotation. He shouldn't. So Asar and Ron will definitely need to fill in the lack of size. Facts. But I've been wanting that for so long. I've been wanting Ron Holland to see at least 20 minutes a game for a while now. But I also want to see Asar Thompson get to his 30 minutes. I want to see Asar Thompson get to his 30 minutes. At a point right now, if I'm honest with you, Fontecchio doesn't need to be in the rotation. He doesn't need to be in the rotation. In fact, I'm almost at a point where I'm saying, hey, you know what? These last 3 games, these last 2 we have against Milwaukee, play everybody. I was going to say sit some guys, rest some guys. If you're going to rest somebody, I would say rest Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder, he's an older veteran. He's what, 30 years old, but he hits the ground a lot. He hits the ground a lot. He's making most of his impact off getting into the paint, which means that he's taking a pounding. Let Marcus Sasser come. But we need to play this full team so that they go into the playoffs playing well together. It's an opportunity for JB Bickerstaff to play with the lineups a little bit, playing with Ron Holland and Asar Thompson together, mixed in with Cade Cunningham. Maybe just see an all-big lineup, which I would see. I would love to see Cade, Asar, Holland, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see if Ron Holland can hit corner threes consistently. Tobias Harris can hit from the wing. Let Asar Thompson play point. This way you still have shooting on the floor that has to be respected. Got Jalen Duren at the top of the key with the rim running pressure. Let's see if you can make that offense work, moving the ball around. Cade can still catch it at the low mid post and get his jump hook off. And if they double team, you hit a guy diving to the basket, to the corner to Tobias Harris or to Ron Holland. I want to see different things experimented with. But more than anything, this team has to continue to play Detroit basketball in these last 2 games. Dev was good, man. Big. Let's get another one against the Bucks. Put W's in the chat. Facts. It is 100%. 100%. We have to be playing well going into the playoffs. That's more important than anything. More important than anything. Ray Floyd, Stewart is so important to this to team. Yo, Isaiah Stewart played Karl Anthony Towns as well as I've seen anyone. But more than anything, he understands how to play physical with him and not give him the advantage to get to the free throw line as much as he wants to. He was trying to do everything he could to goad the refs into a foul call, which is what I've been saying. Karl Anthony Towns is a liability we can take advantage of. You know that he doesn't like physical play. You know that he's going to try to flop and try to get the call of the ref. There was a few times I was hoping JB Bickerstaff would have challenged the call, but maybe at the same time he wanted to see if his guys could play through it. Because I don't think the Pistons are going to get the benefit of the doubt with the call. I don't think that they're going to get that in the playoffs. And I think that they are going to get frustrated with how it's called, but they're going to have to adjust to it. They're going to have to adjust to it. All we need is one win from our remaining 2 games against the Bucks to have the best record for over a decade. Wow. That is saying something. That is saying something. If we get to, what is it going to be, 45 wins? It's going to be 45 wins if we get one win. Hey, look, I'll be honest with you. It ain't going to be an easy win. Milwaukee is playing its guys all the way through. I understand why. They are a team that is trying to figure it out together as well. Let me see. Damian Lillard is still out. Kevin Porter Jr. is probably the second best player behind Giannis throughout this stretch. He looks like he could be a future like franchise guy. The heir apparent to Dame because he's playing extremely well. But they're trying things out too, and they play tonight as well. I wouldn't be shocked if they play their start and tries to keep this energy going because they need to figure themselves out in preparation for the playoffs because they're going to have the Indiana Pacers. And so that's going to be a fight for them as well. Let me get to some of these comments. Man, I usually don't complain about calls. Cade and Brunson's whistles night and day. Yo, I completely agree with you, Ray. This was a game where I was watching and I was, yo, is Brunson going to get all these calls? Is he going to get all these calls? Like really? Is I mean, even the one against Malik Beasley, I can appreciate. I don't know if JB Bickerstaff told his guys, man, just play through it. Don't worry about the refs. Just gonna play, because we have to get prepared for what the playoffs are gonna be like. Yeah, Brunson's in New York. He's gonna get the benefit of the doubt. He's gonna be able to do all the flopping, and you saw just how demonstrative Jalen Brunson was. But you know what? That's also a testament to who he's playing against. He has to do that. He's got to give all the chicken wings and all the fling, because when you have a 6'7" Ron Holland and a 6'8" Asar Thompson, and I'm gonna say Asar Thompson is 6'8" next to Mikal Bridges, who is listed at 6'8", and Asar Thompson bigger than him, definitely heavier and larger than him, but he looked taller than him. So he's definitely around 6'8", and that's not just the afro. That wasn't just the afro. His shoulders were up higher than Mikal Bridges. He's somebody that literally, if he's on Jalen Brunson is going to have a rough day. He's going to look to immediately get a screen and get a SAR off of him. Our large wing players learn to stay down on him. You can just expect he'll start flopping. He's going to start flailing constantly, because I don't think he has pop yet. I don't think he has that quick twitch to really play at the level that he probably could at his best. And with that little small disadvantage playing up against an athletic, energized defense, there's a lot of size on you and a lot of length, that can spell a lot of trouble for someone like Jalen Brunson. He didn't end the game shooting it well. He started off hot, but he didn't end the game shooting well. And so that's also a testament to this Detroit Pistons. We can sound some of these other comments here. Ethan, my man, do you think the Bucks prefer to play the Knicks or Pacers? Pacers lock themselves into at least the 4th spot. Yeah, no, I think it's locked in. It's going to be Bucks. I think that's going to be a good matchup for them. See, one of the things that's really tough is when a team has significant shifts late in the season, it's hard for them going to the playoffs. It's not something that you've seen consistently. It's the first time we're seeing Giannis with Chris Middleton. It's the first time we're seeing this rendition of the Bucks with a Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis coming in off the bench behind him with more around them. Guys like AJ Green and Gary and Torian Prince, like they have length. Ryan Rollins is even playing well. He had 12 points tonight. I'm looking at the box score. They beat the Pelicans. That they're a team that's figuring it out, and Indiana is going to have to really study these guys that they haven't seen all season long. They haven't really been checking for Kyle Kuzma all season. Ryan Rollins, right? Kevin Porter came over from the Clippers, right? And so there's going to be a lot of adjustments taking place. I think that's a series that can easily go 6 or 7 games. And depending upon who steps up and shows up, right? Is Kevin Porter Jr. going to show that he can closer for them, right? Is Damian Lillard going to make it back in time? I'm not even sure. Y'all let me know in the comment section if you heard anything about Damian Lillard and his prognosis for coming back for the playoffs, because not coming back with only a couple games left, man, this is like really concerning if I'm a Bucks fan. If I'm a Bucks fan, I'd be like, I have to start thinking Dame isn't even going to be there in the first round. Because generally you want to get in a couple of regular season. You want to get in at least about 4 or 5 regular season games before the playoffs start to get your legs underneath you. But yeah, I think that they don't even care if it's the Bucks or the Knicks. Let me see. Casio IRL. The one thing that scares me about this game is Josh Hart, OG Anunoby. That's what I said in the beginning. We're not playing. Also, Mitchell Robinson wasn't playing. Already know either Hart, Bridges will be on cade. Yeah, everyone has to be on point making their shots. Look, I think Cade can score against anybody. I don't think Cade's worried about them. I do think that OG Anunoby will see a lot more minutes against Cade than Bridges will. Bridges will be more of a help defender with that length. But I do think one thing I appreciated I saw from Cade Cunningham in this game is that he made sure that he was scoring within the flow of the off the most part. Towards that second half, fourth quarter, I think they started deferring to him too much. And when I say them, Dennis Schroeder and even Asar Thompson. Instead of bringing themselves and allowing Cade to just jog down the court and get to his spot and catch the ball in his spot off the ball, they kept giving him the ball to bring up the court. They have to do a better job of recognizing that it helps Cade Cunningham to concede when he doesn't have to bring it up the court. But when he's using up a lot of energy and bringing it up across the court, he's more susceptible to those turnovers. He's more susceptible to guys being able to pressure him and press him at the half court line and having to use up a lot of energy to make decisions and figure out how to get us into our offense. Look, take that responsibility off of him. Especially if he has it rolling. If he has it rolling, he's knocking down shots. He's hitting shots. Yo, he should be completely off the ball. He should be completely off the ball. This way other guys stay involved and he's able to conserve his energy. Because remember, he's also trying to play great defense. He's playing on the defensive end. He's playing both sides. And that takes a considerable amount of energy. And so guys have to make sure that even if he has it rolling, you step up and take that burden off of him. Come and get the ball. I got you. I got you. I got it. Asar Thompson, get that ball. I got you. I got it. Right? Because those also do a good job of recognizing like, hey, you know what? Cade may have it going, but I got Jalen Brunson guarding Tobias Harris. They're gonna have to hide Jalen Brunson somewhere. Right? Let's make sure that we're picking on him. Let's make sure that we exploit these other mismatches. I also appreciate Cade Cunningham catching the ball at the mid post and giving the handoff to Dennis Schroeder. Even though he had it going, he was rolling. He trusted Dennis Schroeder. And I said one of the things I love in this game is he's never scared of the moment. He's never scared of the moment. He's always somebody who loves those big moments and opportunities to prove himself. He's not scared of taking that shot, and I love that from him. We also saw in this game, to an extent, the limitations that I told you Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley were going to have, especially in the playoffs. Let me get to their numbers really quick. You had Tim Hardaway Jr., 7. Really good, much better than the last game. He doesn't need to be getting all up 15 times. And then 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Really efficient. He had the highest plus minus of the team in this game. plus 12. He also had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. This is an excellent stat line from Tim Hardaway Jr. Look, I get on when he doesn't do the right things, I got to give him props when he is. This was an excellent game from him playing his old team, the New York Knicks. He went out there, he was aggressive, he stayed within himself, but he wasn't chucking. He wasn't just trying to just let the ball, making sure other guys were staying involved. And I think Tobias Harris, for the most part, he is a balancing factor because he's a veteran presence that can demand the ball and say, look, give me the ball. I've been a starter his entire career, drafted by the Magic, going to the Pistons, going to the Clippers, going to the Philadelphia 76ers, and now back with the Pistons. He has always been a starter. He's always been known as a scorer. Even if he's not primary or even secondary scorer on a playoff team, he's always been an effective scorer, which is why he always gets paid and why he's always is in the role that he is. Because there's few guys who can get to their spots consistently and create a quality against real defense, against starting level defense, against high level defender. He can get to his spots, effectively take care of the ball, make a good decision, and get a quality shot. So I think he's definitely a moving factor for this offense. But it's something that guys need to continue to stay focused on. Malik Beasley also had a really good game. Shot 4 of 8 from 3. Once again, that's exactly where he's supposed to be, right? 6, 7, 8 shot attempt, unless they're crazy hot and they're hitting shots back to back, then you can get up towards double-digit shot attempts. But if you're in a game, it should be right around here. But this is where they're most effective because it also means other guys are scoring effectively. The ball is being shared and distributed, but also you have to recognize good defenses, especially in the playoffs, are going to take away a lot of those shots that they're using in the regular season. Most of the regular season basketball is about flow. And it's okay, we're going to go out there, we're going to try to execute, but guys ain't really giving that 150% effort. They're not really, trying to stay locked in on stopping a Malik Beasley. At this point in the season, they are. And they understand at this point how they have to do that. And that means you have to blow up the dribble handoffs, make sure that he doesn't get it. And if he does get it, he has to put the ball on the floor and then contain. And when you have defenders on the perimeter who have length, like OG Anunoby, who didn't play tonight, Josh Hart, who didn't play tonight, and Mikal Bridges, who did, you have the ability to mitigate a lot of that dribble handoff, catch, and shoot right off the screen. Dribble right into a shot at the top of the key. You can negate a lot of that. And that's what we saw tonight. And so it was good to see other people step up. Let me get to some of these other comments down here. Let me see. E-Dubs, we played this game determined to win and still won. Oh, wait, let me get to some. Casio, got that comment. Also know either Hart or Bridges will be okay. So everyone else has, facts. Ray Floyd, Holland is 19 and is already starting to figure some things out offensively. For those of y'all who follow my channel, it will be in my lives. I've been talking about this for a minute. I stayed talking about this. Ron Holland should have had a bump in his minutes. Way back probably when we had the back-to-back against the Washington Wizards. Ron Holland should have started getting opportunities to get up to 20, 25, almost 30 minutes if Asar Thompson is in foul trouble. He should be at the point right now where Ron Holland plays behind Asar Thompson like Isaiah Stewart plays behind Jalen Duren. I'll say it again. Ron Holland should be playing behind Asar Thompson the same way that Isaiah Stewart plays behind Jalen Duren. Meaning that Ron Holland, de facto, perimeter wing defender and player who's able to kickstart their transition offense while at the same time being a switchable defender to contain on the perimeter with size and athleticism and length. Their physical abilities and size on the perimeter directly impacts the Pistons defense and their ability to kickstart their transition offense. Ron Holland has been playing extremely well, even if he's not knocking down shots. What it means is that JB Bickerstaff, you have got to find ways to get him minutes. He needs to be ramped up. And I know we've got 2 more games left, I think a Ron Holland should get no less than 20 minutes these next couple of games. Those straight line drives, finishing at the rim, he looked strong, under control. Even when he lost the ball, you could tell he never lost control. The ball kind of got knocked away, got fumbled a little bit, but he was under control. He was able to finish at the rim effectively. And his ability to hit the boards, he was second leading rebounder. Right? Had 5 rebounds in 20 minutes. These are the type of stat lines that Ron Holland and Asar Thompson are able to put up consistently. All right. Let me get to some of these other comments here. We played this game determined to win and still won without Ivy. Yo, man, I'm going to get into that in a second. I wouldn't read much into it in that we're a horrible matchup for New York. If anything, New York would be frustrated with this loss. We are a tough matchup for the New York Knicks because of our athleticism. Our kills in any sport, in any sport. When you have superior speed, it's just so hard to deal with. And the athleticism that we have on this team with the Asar Thompson and Ron Holland is second to none. But when you add Jaden Ivey, man, I would love to be in a practice where they're running sprints and you have Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson and Ron Holland all lined up. I would love to see who would win. My bet would probably still be on Ivy, but I think Asar would be right there, and Ron Holland would be right behind. Like Ron Holland's speed next to Asar and Ivy is like Chris Gatling behind Usain Bolt. If you're in the track and field, right? He's not that, but he's right there. He's still one of the best in the world. If we had Ivy, yo, more than likely we're a number potential 3-4 seed. If we had Jaden Ivey healthy the second half of the season, we're probably a 4 seed. We're looking at a 50-win season, at least. At least, if not 53, 54 wins. To step up in moments where Cade is not playing well. Like Cade Will had an amazing, and I have to give Cade props, he had an amazing, amazing start to finish game. This was an incredible beginning to end game. He was locked in, he stayed locked in, and he was the man for us. He was our superstar. And if we had Ivy, I think when we have Jaden Ivey, you can see Cade Cunningham playing point guard on the ball a lot more. Because he's not necessarily looking to also get the ball back and be the primary scorer. He would have Jaden Ivey to be someone who can shift and tilt the defense his way and create openings and opportunities for Cade to score off the ball or exploit the added attention on Cade Cunningham. With speed and athleticism, ability to get to the rim, yo, I can't wait for next season to have Ivy, Cade, Ron, Asar all in a lineup together. That is going to be one of the scariest things for the league. Let me get to some of these other comments. D-Dubs are responding to Casio. Yeah, nothing to be scared of. I'm not worried about their pace and size at all. Would need all the help from the officials to beat us. Look, I will say this. A double big up could give us issues. A double big up could give us issues. One, because you now have Karl Anthony Towns guarding Tobias Harris. It'll mitigate some of Tobias Harris's ability to score in the half court. Mitchell Robinson, under the rim, Mitchell Robinson is 7'1", with a 7'6" wingspan. Really good timing, physical presence, quick off his feet. He can negate some of the pick and roll stuff, and most impactfully, the combination of those will have the ability to control the boards. If they go big, we could be looking at lopsided rebounding margins tilted towards the Knicks, where you have a 48 rebound to 31 rebound game. All right, like that could really solve trouble for us, especially our ability to get defensive rebounds, to secure defensive rebounds and get out in transition. But I do want to say kudos to Jalen Duren, who stayed out of foul trouble in this game. Stayed out of foul trouble. Isaiah Stewart wasn't able to. However, I don't mind those fouls. The majority of his fouls were not putting guys on the free throw line. And they were fouls that were disrupting of their primary scorers, especially Karl Anthony Towns, especially Karl Anthony Towns. So I do say that there is a little challenge the Knicks can give us on the interior, and the physicality on with guys like Josh Hart and OG Anunoby. It's going to be a series. It's going to be a series. Let me see. I'd rather face the Knicks. Either of those two. See winning Knicks series. Bucks with Dame out. I could see us winning 2 games. Pacers will get swept. Bring on anyone. I don't think we get swept against the Pacers. I think we are how they beat us in the past. I don't think that we're that same team. I think this is a better team than they were when they lost to the Pacers in the past. I think it's a team that understands itself more and is able to play within itself better today than it did back then. And so even how they tried to pressure Cade full length of the court, I don't see Cade being the primary offensive initiator against the Pacers in a playoff matchup. That would be Asar Thompson, right? He would immediately take that burden off of him, and then you see Cade get right to posting up guys like Andrew Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton, right, and exploiting his size against them, right? A lack of true shot blocking. I mean, Miles Turner is decent shot blocking, but if he helps too much, Jalen Duren can easily overpower him. I also think we also have a far more effective offensive center in Jay at this point in the season, who he is today, than when we last faced the Pacers. I think as long as he stays aggressive, getting downhill, attacking opposing bigs, I think he can easily impose his will on Miles Turner. And that can give us a huge advantage as well. But yeah, I don't think that we're the same team. So I think it would be a series against the Pacers just as much against the Knicks. Let me see some of these other comments here. Cade can average 28 in the playoff series. True. He can certainly average a higher points per game than he averaged during the regular season, which is the signs of a superstar player. I've been saying it, he's a superstar player. He's a superstar. He's here. He's here. He's here. I love that he'll have a chance to go to the Garden against the Knicks, primetime television, and get a chance to play some big time basketball and show who he is. I think he's going to be able to really shock some people on that stage. But he has to stay within himself and within the flow of the offense. Keep his team involved. Keep other guys low. So, and also make sure that he's pacing himself so he can conserve his energy to help us close the game. And also so he can play defense because we're going to need him to play great defense on the perimeter alongside of Ron Holland and Asar Thompson. Let me see, Ethan. It will either be the Knicks or Pacers. We can swap with the Bucks for the 5th seed. Knicks and Pacers can still swap 3rd and 4th spot. Not possible to face the Bucks until later. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But I think we have to beat the Bucks both games in order to get that 5th seed against the Pacers, likely against the Pacers. And I think the Knicks, I think Knicks end up in the 3rd seed. I think that's where they end up. Look at some of these other comments here. The question is, how do Knicks contain Cade, who's bigger, faster, more athletic than their 1 through 3 and the same size as their 4? That's very true. Well, like I said, but it depends on if the Knicks go big. If the Knicks go big with Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, that shrinks the floor, and it's going to reshape Cade's ability to get to the rim. To the rim. He took advantage that he's bigger and stronger than Mikal Bridges. He's taller, bigger, stronger than Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride, who played him pretty, and Landry Shamet. He's got advantages over all those guys. However, I think for the most part, who he's going to see is OG Anunoby. And if there's 2 bigs behind him, and Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, it's going to be a little bit tough. He's going to have to stay within the flow so he can exploit what the defense gives him rather than just trying to impose his will. I think that can really shape just how efficient and effective Cade Cunningham is for us. Casio IRL, still cautiously optimistic about the playoffs. The Knicks in the postseason are scary. They are. Even when they weren't 100%, they were taking that Pacers team to game 6 or 7. I will say this is the one, and as I said this earlier in this live, the one thing that gives the Detroit Pistons a chance, and this is the factor. is that Karl Anthony Towns is a liability. Karl Anthony Towns is one of those dudes who gets unfocused in that much of a cerebral IQ player with a great feel. He makes decisions at times that just shows that he just skipped a beat. He didn't like even when there was a turnover transition moment. I think y'all remember we got a turnover, tried to bring it up the court, pressure Chua knocked it out of Dennis Schroeder's hands. Karl Towns picks it up and quickly just throws the ball up, and Cade steps in front of it and picks it off again. That's a moment where a higher IQ player would have just held on to the ball, secured it, found his point guard, and let's get into some offense, right? Slowed it down. Don't get caught up in the moment. And he can get caught up a lot. And then he started fishing for fouls against Isaiah Stewart, and that just completely bogged down the offense. They forgot about Mikal Bridges in the second half. A lot of stuff started happening that revolved around Karl Towns' lack of an ability to stay locked in the playoffs or in big pressure moments when it's a close game. So that is an opportunity that we're going to have to exploit them. D-Dubs, 100% a fit Ivy. You're looking at a 50-game winning season. Who do you think should be Coach of the Year? JB, Udoka, Redick, Anderson, Dog. No, I said it. Look, one, I said this before, and please hear me on this. This is the worst the Detroit Pistons will be for the foreseeable future, for probably the next 5 years. Remember, this is a 45 win. This is a over 40 win, above 500 team with just one of the two of Ivy or Cade Cunningham in the lineup and everyone else. With everyone else healthy. With at least one of those two, you have your number one scoring option. A guy who can take over the game when you need him to, impose his will, and tilt the defense towards him. That creates advantages across the board. But this is also worse Asar Thompson is ever going to be. I keep saying, what you see Amen Thompson doing, Asar Thompson can do all of that. He can do all of that. All of it. He can be a point forward. He can 4 to 5 positions. He can defend the rim. He could be out on the perimeter. He can be a shutdown defender. He can get out in transition and score against just about anybody. But once again, this is the worst he's going to be. He wasn't able to train all off season with the clot issues. Didn't come back until midway into the season. It was late November. Right? He wasn't even able to put double-digit minutes until December, going into January. Right? He literally had to play his way into shape. And you see he's still getting better. His handle, getting downhill, finding his shots. This is the worst this team will ever be. Ron Holland, expect him. All right, y'all. Oh, man. I'm so excited about Ron Holland off the bench for this team. Ron Holland, and this is why I keep telling y'all when it comes to re-signing some of these guys, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., I know we love these guys, Dennis Schroeder, right? Ron Holland is going to be a 25-minute per game sub next season. 25 on average. That means some games he's going to get over 30. Having a bad game, he'll be around 20. How much of a role do you think a Malik Beasley or Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to have next season? Like straight up. Jaden Ivey's going to be at 35 minutes a game. Starter. Tim Hardaway Jr. would be on the bench right now if Ivy was here. 100% we'd be starting Ivy, Cade, Asar, and pretty much Tobias Harris and Jalen Duren. How many minutes are really left over for a bench shooter, especially when you see Ron Holland's jump shot come around? You have to start thinking, if Ron Holland is able to do more catch and shoot, knocking down shots, getting out in defensive versatility, straight line drives, pull up jump shots, he's shown you he can hit those on top of getting to the rim. There's not going to be a lot of minutes left over for a bench shooter. So when we start thinking about who we're going to re-sign this offseason, you have to understand, I don't know if Beasley or Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to want to be here next season. And if they do, they're going to want to get paid, but they're also going to want a large role. May not be there for them next season. It may not be there for them next season. I think Marcus Sasser by next season in year 3 is going to be able to give us what Dennis Schroeder is giving us now, along with better shooting, because we did see Dennis Schroeder turn down a wide open corner three, which is a no-no. You don't do. That was when PJ Tucker closed out on him, ended up fouling him, knocking him to the ground, stood over him and all that, right? All that's to say is Marcus Sasser knocks down. Marcus Sasser, there's not a shot he takes that we don't all think is going in. He's got one of the prettiest looking jump shots on the team. Next season, he's going to be able to play Dennis Schroeder's role. But once again, with V and with Ron Holland, their increased minutes, there's going to be a smaller role. So you're not going to have a Dennis Schroeder getting, what did he get in this game? 27 minutes. It's not going to be a 27-minute role next season. It's going to be more like an 18-minute role next season, at best. At best. So that's what we're kind of in the future. But Ron Holland is going to be huge for us. He's going to be huge when he is consistently attacking the rim, getting downhill, out in transition, putting pressure on the defense, and being able to knock down threes. He's going to be able to shoot. He has a smooth-looking jump shot. He was going to be able to extend it out to the three-point line. Expect a summer dedicated to that. And I'm going to draft conversation later on. I've been going through a list of guys that I really like for this team. But I think Ron Holland's going to play a lot more shooting guard next season. Shooting guard and small forward. He's going to be switchable. He can guard 1 through 4. But I think he's going to play some more shooting guard, which means we're going to allow him to start taking more volume threes. One of the guys that I'm looking at in the draft is actually, keep this name. Remember, I said it here first. I told y'all about Ron Holland first. But keep this name. Alex Carabam out of UConn. Alex Carabam out of UConn. 6'8", 220. Lights out shooter. Really good shooter. High IQ. But more than anything, he's a winner. He's a winner. That's what this team needs. Start bringing in guys who are winners, who have been a part of winning for a long time, who have been contributors to winning for a long time. He's got both those national championships with the UConn Huskies, with Stephon Castle, played with Donovan Clingan, right? He's a high-level role player who's going to be able to space the floor for us. And he does a lot of extra things. He gets to those rebounds. He boxes out, sets good screens, challenges at the rim. He has good timing, great feel for where to be. And he's a great replacement to get some money for Tekio out of there. Replacement for him. And at 6'8", I think he's going to give us just what we need in front court that's going to allow Bobby Klintman and Ron Holland to play bigger roles next season because they're going to have their glue guy. Their glue. Outside of him, I also like Dink Pate, who's in the G League right now. Thinner guy, wiry guy, kind of reminds me of Ron Holland a lot, but 6'8", athlete. Those are the type of guys I think. But we're going to do some more draft talk. My bad. But definitely Coach of the Year, J.B. Bickerstaff. Come on now. Tripled your win total from the previous season with almost the same exact roster, and you lost your second best player in Jaden Ivey midway through the year. Yeah, Coach of the Year. Casio IRL, Pacers are also better than they were last season. True. They fixed their defensive issues. Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard took leaps defensively. No, completely. I mean, when those two are healthy, this perimeter defense is as good as any. And when you play them together, they're going to be able to contain extremely well. Pacers have a really good team. They just do. I've been telling y'all, Pascal Siakam for them just push them into their championship contention window. Even though they don't have like that singular, superstar player, you have certain guys that are floor racers. And for Tyrese Halliburton offensively, he reminds me a lot of what Jason Kidd was able to do with the New Jersey Nets. He was able to turn Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Kerry Kittles, and Todd McCullough into an NBA Finals team 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. Now, if Tyrese Halliburton played defense like Jason Kidd, he probably won NBA Finals. But it's to say, he's a floor raiser. He's a floor raiser. So they are in their championship contention window. They are in their window. They're also going to continue to get better, but they're also in a conundrum where they're going to have to do a consolidation trade soon. I think Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell will probably be packaged and be up out of there because I think they're going to stick with your Jarris Walker and what's my man's name? The shooting guard out of Arizona. Shucks, y'all know who I'm talking about. Benedict Mathurin. Um, I think those are going to be the primary guys coming in off the bench because they just can't afford to pay everybody, and they need to bring Miles Turner. So I think Obi Toppin, T.J. McConnell end up out of there. Um, but yeah, Pacers are going to be. We're going to be in a crazy division for the foreseeable future. Even the Bulls have gotten significantly better at playing. Um, they're a team that is only going to get better now that they found their rotation with Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Matas Buzelis, and then they got what's his name where are they playing him? Well, they still got Lonzo Ball, who's been out. They still got Ayo Dosunmu, who's in that backcourt rotation. They got Patrick Williams, and then Nikola Vucevic, and then Zach Collins was an underrated pickup in that trade for them. People keep telling them that they lost that trade. Man, they addition by subtraction, and then they got the right pieces in the right spots. The Chicago Bulls are going to be here for a while. We're going to have to win for a while. So this division is going to be packed. It's going to be stacked. And if Kevin Porter Jr. really is this for this team, and Kyle Kuzma continues to settle into his role, now all of a sudden this Milwaukee Bucks are rejuvenated with some young guys. Expect Brook Lopez to be up out of there soon or go to a bench role because I think Giannis's position in this era of the NBA and at this place in his career is going to be at center, playing Kyle Kuzma at the 4, Taurean Prince at the 3, maybe a Gary Trent Jr., but having some more athleticism, length, and shooting on the court that gives them some more versatility. And then you have a Brook Lopez or Bobby Portis as your backup big. Look at some of these other comments. Knicks can play big, but that would play right into our hands. Cade will have a field day against that slower lineup. True, they will be a lot slower. Plus, we have dangerous shooters from out wide. Robinson and Cat don't want to. You know what? That is a great point. That is a great point. I do still think, and I'm going to do a video on this eventually, on this playoff matchup, because Jalen Duren is going to play a huge role. His ability to effectively dribble handoffs, setting really good screens, solid screens that free up Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. and even Cade Cunningham is going to be instrumental in the playoffs, especially if they go big. And he'll move quickly with the ball and make the right decisions. You saw a couple times he had turnovers because he wasn't used to the defender on him playing so locked in against that pass over the top. You got to get the cutter. He's going to have to start learning how to do ball fakes, stepping through, wraparound passes, which he's all capable of doing. But there's going to be a learning curve for him with increased intensity and size around him. So we'll see. They will be slower, but can the young guys, can Ron Holland, can Asar Thompson mentally speed up with the game, speed up with the increased level of intensity while still staying focused? One of the things you used to always say, that I love the saying, he said, go fast, but don't rush. Go fast, but don't rush. Rushing has to do with your mental state and your focus. Going fast has to do with your level of intensity. Can Duren play that way? Can he move fast, but not rush and stay locked in? Sometimes, to me, Jalen Duren is almost Karl Anthony Towns-ish, which is kind of scary to say out loud, where he rushed a lot in his mental processing and decision-making. Even the foul that he did, Karl Anthony Towns, right? He didn't need to try to block the shot. He played good defense. Karl Anthony Towns driving to the basket. You don't need to try to block the shot. Straight up, he shoots over the top. He makes a good shot. The last thing you want to do is give up an and one. So these are things that I'm also considering. Cassio cute his way out of a playoff game. I think he'll drop 40, but that doesn't guarantee a win. That is very true. If we can't get stops, we don't want to burn him out before the series ends. That is a great point. I always said He needs to score within the flow of the offense. When he's playing with the flow of the offense, he's far more efficient, and he allows other guys to step up and to stay involved. And that keeps the defense from being able to load up on him and make other guys better. When he tries to do the ISO game too much, especially when he has it rolling and he starts wanting to bring the ball up each and every time, it really puts him at a disadvantage in terms of his sustainability energy to close the game. And that's where his teammates have to step up and so that they're initiating to get the ball to start to get us into our offense so you could take that burden off of Cade. But that's a great point. We don't having to dominate games every single time in that way for us to try to win, because he can get to 40 and we can still lose. All right. Everybody has to be involved. It has to be a collective effort. That's when we have always been at that is Detroit basketball. Let me see. D-Dubs, we can't live with their pace. No, we can't. And Turner stretching out wide to shoot those threes. I never, when it comes to the Pacers. I think we've made some adjustments in how we guard the three-point shooting big, where I think our bigs are more conscious of being aware of them. We did a group of containing Karl-Anthony Towns on the perimeter. He only shot a 3 time in this game. Do y'all realize that? Probably the best three-point shooting big outside of Nikola Jokic, and only got 1 shot off from 3, which meant we did an excellent job of closing out and contesting and preventing him from having that opportunity. So I think we've improved in that area a lot. Lions was good. I know this is off topic. When we have some time, give your thoughts about Ivy recently being freed for full on-court conditioning. I saw that. I don't think that means he returns for the playoffs. What you're looking for is he engaged in competitive play? Competitive play is what you're looking for. Competitive play means he's either going 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. He's fully involved in practices. He's cleared full contact. And he's actually physically ready to play contact basketball. If the regular season, the most intense a regular season game, like let's take this game, let's call it at an 8 in terms of intensity and physicality. The playoffs are at a 9 and 10 every night. So Jaden Ivey is going from no contact. Now he's full throttle conditioning, potentially, right? He still has to do his ball work to get his handle straight. He still has to get into the rhythm of his jump shots. He still has to get comfortable with contact and driving to the basket. He still has to get into his rhythm. He still has to get adjusted to all the changes that have taken place on this. And then you have to think of, well, whose spot in the rotation is he going to take? I'm not mad if he takes Tim Hardaway Jr.'s spot, but I would have wanted him to have come back before the season ended. If he came back by this was the game actually I was really looking at. If Jaden Ivey came back against the Knicks in this game, I would have been thinking to myself, let's go. Even if he had a bad game, terrible game, he needed to get back on the court. If by some miracle he plays the last game, okay. I think that's saying they're going to figure it out and get him in there. But I doubt it. Maybe Bickerstaff and his staff have been very conservative in terms of their rotation, minutes, distribution, and focus on leaning on their veterans. I don't think they get to this point in the season and suddenly go, yeah, sorry, Tim Hardaway Jr., we're gonna bench you for Jaden Ivey. Or League Beasley, we're not gonna play. If anybody, I mean, they could bring him off the bench and bench Simone Fontecchio. And then Holland is more of a 4-3 position and play Jaden Ivey at that 2-3 position. But I just don't see them doing that. And the fact that he's not even practicing with them yet. He's not even involved in contact drills yet. So I really doubt that. But that wasn't off topic. I appreciate the comment, Leading Lions. Casio IRL just is a great rivalry, but a death sentence to this team. Getting punked by them could be reality check, though, like the bad boys and the Celtics. Look, this rivalry is coming. It's already here. I've already told y'all that. This rivalry is legit. The the rivalry between Cade Cunningham and Tyrese Halliburton is one. Who's the best point guard in the East, if not the best, one of the best guards in the league, NBA, right? All stars. They're going to be there for a long time together. Then you have Jaden Ivey and Benedict Mathurin, drafted right next to each other. We took Jaden Ivey right before Benedict Mathurin, and it really was a toss. It really was a toss-up. But Jaden Ivey was, the difference was his potential, his ceiling was so much higher, even though Benedict Mathurin's polish was a little bit more substantial. He had a higher floor. But Jaden Ivey had a substantially higher ceiling. And of course, you always take talent first when you're choosing that high, and we chose the right guy. But then you also had a sergeant who was chosen over Jarris Walker. And believe it or not, that was a draft. If you go back in the annals, I wanted Jarris Walker. I wanted Jarris Walker for the Detroit. I thought he was going to be, and I still think so, like a crossbreed between Ron Artest and Draymond Green. Just he's a 6'8", 7'3" wingspan, loner of gravity, really agile, defensive-minded player who's highly skilled with ball skills, with dribbling the ball, facilitating, playmaking. He can initiate your offense, really good field and IQ. Was just a really good player coming out of the University of Houston. And I thought that he would have been perfect for this team. But once again, high floor, but Asar Thompson had a higher ceiling. And once again, we chose correctly. That rivalry is here. We're in the same division. I expect to see those games be heated single time. Every single time. Let me see. And I don't think that series is a death sentence. I think it would go 6. I think we would probably lose in 6, potentially, just because I think that there's going to be a learning curve that the Pacers are more prepared for because of their deep run last season. But I think we're just as talented, and we would have the best player on the court, which is Cade Cunningham. And I think if we put Asar Thompson on to Halliburton, we have the potential to completely disrupt him. And so I think that we have a lot of potential in terms of what we can do. And I think Jalen Duren's a lot better. He could definitely stay off series and outplay Miles Turner. I would not be shocked by that at all. So I would not be if it went 6 or 7 games. And I would give the Pistons probably the same chance as I would give them against the New York Knicks. Let me see. D-Dubs. Just won a game is my only target in the playoffs. We haven't won a play game since 2008. Damn. If we exit with Cade burning out, we know what to do in the offseason to reach the next level. I mean, look, Cade is going to give his all. And in these playoffs, you're going to get tired. You're going to get exhausted. I think Cade is ready for that. I think no matter what, we know we're getting our number 2 guy back in terms of Jaden Ivey from injury. He is our number. Look, this whole conversation around finding a second guy, let's just dead it, please. Let's dead that conversation. Jaden Ivey is him. He hit 2 game winners. Two. Shot 40% from 3-point line. Jaden Ivey is our 1B. Our guy who has proven that he can take over games and dominate in the playoffs. He's proven it. From what he's done in the regular season in high leverage moments, he has shown that he is somebody, when we get into the playoffs, is not going to be scared of the moment. And when you have that elite of athleticism, you will always be able to leverage it. You will always be able to leverage it. I expect him to be right there with us in the playoffs in the future. Let me see. Get to some of these last comments. Team Savant. Did James Dolan sell the team because the Pistons own the Knicks? I don't know. I didn't even hear that James Dolan sold the Knicks. I ain't even following them like that. But you know that's that's the highest value team in the league. I think they're worth like 14 billion, 15 billion. Yeah, man, somebody verify that for me. Is Jay Dolan really selling the Knicks? I wouldn't be shocked. I would cash out too. You probably get like 20 billion for that franchise. Somebody get billion? I'm out. I'm gonna go buy an island, move all my family and friends over there. I'm out. Let me see. The Gallant. Him and Simone more than likely out of here. For sure. For sure. But I wouldn't be shocked if Malik Beasley also doesn't return. I know Malik Beasley is a fan favorite. I think if he signs for like 6 million for 3 years, 3 years, 6 million, I could see that. But I don't see Malik Beasley having one. And I've said this before throughout this live. I don't think Malik Beasley has the same role that he has now next season. Jaden Ivey will be starting and getting 35 minutes. Tim Hardaway Jr. averages probably around 24 minutes, if not 26 minutes. So Jaden Ivey is going to have that 10 more minutes. And he's going to be staggered a lot of the times coming at the bench. Then you're going to have a better Marcus Sasser next season in that Dennis Schroeder role. And then you're going to have a much improved Ron Holland getting probably 25 minutes a game next season. So then you say, what are the minutes available for a bench guard who's not a facilitator, isn't necessarily a playmaker, right? And so a lot of what right now is really indicative of the role he's in and his ability. Very, very good at his job. He's great as a shooter, but he's not going to have that role. And that means his value for us is a lot smaller than what it might be elsewhere. If he's willing to come back on a $6 to $8 million deal, I think that they keep him. If he wants more than that, especially under the second apron when you need cap flexibility, I don't know. Especially because I think Ron Holland's going to be able to play the two and shoot more threes next season. Some of these last comments before I get out of here. This has been dope. Ethan Kenwin, Beasley will still play big minutes next year. Tim Hardaway Jr. is going odd man out unless Beasley signs somewhere else. I don't think he's going to play big minutes next year. Let's be real. If Cade and Ivy are getting 35 minutes a game each, Ron Holland is going to probably get at least over 20 minutes a game next season, if not close to 25. He's already shooting 1 to 2 threes a game towards the end of this season. By next season, he'll be shooting at least 3 to 5 threes a game. And his ability to attack the rim and perimeter. Marcus Sasser will also have a bigger role because Malik Beasley is not someone who can initiate your offense. So now his role has been shrunk and the available minutes are considerably smaller. Right? I don't see him getting big minutes. I just don't. Plus, you also have Asar Thompson, who's going to need a bigger role next season, getting 35 minutes a game. You got to find minutes for now. Right now, Asar Thompson is getting 20-something minutes per game. Ron Holland's getting 10 to 12 minutes a game, 14 minutes a game at the most. Right? There's a lot of minutes to be had. Tim Hardaway Jr. is getting 20-something minutes. There's a lot of minutes for Malik Beasley. That thing's going to be shrink considerably. Consider that. Let me see these last comments. Ooh, y'all out here in these comment sections. I usually try to get to all these during the live. Aces will toy with us. The only drawback is that they don't have championship winning pedigree and superstar player Halliburton. Their ceiling is Eastern Conference Finals. I do think their ceiling is Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't think they would toy with. I do think we would have the best player in that series, and I think that Jalen Duren will have to step up and impose his will and win that matchup against Miles Turner in ways he hasn't in the past. I also think Asar Thompson will have an opportunity to be very disruptive now that he's getting over 30 minutes a game towards the back end of the season instead of only the 18 to 19 minutes he was getting before. Right? I think he has a much bigger than what he's been able to have in the past. So I would say I don't think they would toy with us. We'd have the best player and the shot to win. Caravan looks like Max Strus. He does look like Max Strus. He looks like one of them European UFC mixed martial art fighters. That's what it looks like. But I tell you this much, the man's a winner. He's a winner. He's been a part of winning for the UConn Huskies the last 3 years. He's been a central part of what they've done This season, he's playing like 35.9, 36 minutes a game. A game. Moves well without the ball. High IQ player. You know who he reminds me of is, what's his name for the Orlando Magic? Um, what's his name? That comes in off the bench for them. He reminds me of Tristan da Silva. I think that's the type of player Caravan is going to be. Is why I want him for the Detroit Pistons. Because if he could come in and be that type of a player where he can shoot the ball and makes great decisions, but he can be a glue guy. That's what really these Pistons are needing, is more glue guys who tie everyone together, who are unselfish, who can create opportunities for some of these other guys. I think that's going to be a big step in the right direction, but it has to be said, and it can't be understated, how important it is to play with winners. Winners win. Winners make winning plays. Winners do winning things. Whether it's conversations they have in the locker room with guys, how they hold each other accountable, what their work ethic is like in practice, their prep games, their focus and concentration, how they communicate. They do so many things that separates you, right? Guys like George Niang, what they call him minivan, right? And he does so many things that impacts winning. Kyle Anderson, so many things that impact winning, right? People who are winners do winning things. Josh Hart, things that don't even show up in the stat sheet, right? Setting an off-ball screen to free up a shooter 1 second that allows him to get a wide open release instead of a contest in his face, right? That shifts the momentum and allows us to go up 5 instead of being 2, right? And then the other team going the other way, right? These little things, tapping the ball out, digging in on a attacking offensive player, switching at the right time, communicating for other guys. Watch that screen. There's so many things that winners, that not only do they do it, but they model it to their teammates. It reminds them to do it. I think bringing in a winner would be huge. The other guy that I like is Cam Jones. I like Cam Jones out of Marquette. I think he's a similar player, but he's a 6'5" guy. But he does a little bit of everything: scoring, facilitating, rebounding, defending. Plays both ends. Really good, stocky, strong guy. I think he would be great for the Detroit Pistons as well. I'm gonna do some draft stuff later on, but yeah, he does like Max Strus. I'll keep those players' names in mind. Rock, yeah, Coach JB should win it. Because what's he done his first year has been remarkable. It's no fluke. Those players believe in their coach and staff. Ivy plays with heavy motion. I can't see him returning this season. I don't either, because I think he plays too hard to hold him back. I don't think he'll be physically to play his brand of basketball. And I think that's where there's a potential for him to re-aggravate his injury, which I don't want more than anything else. He would have been back by the beginning of April if he was going to. Yeah, he's fit, but the coaching staff know his traits. Sit him out. Facts, 100%. Ivy is a serious problem. I'm talking about reaching the next level in terms of quality and squad depth. Reed, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tech, playoffs will out what the owners need to upgrade on over the summer. You know what, man? You D-Dubs, when you come through, man, every single time, we locked in, bro. We locked in, 100%. I've been saying this since last year. Everybody who is going to elevate this team to be a contender is already on the roster. Is already on the roster. Is already here. Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Ivy, Ron Holland, Marcus Sasser. I still believe in Bobby Clinton, Isaiah Stewart. This core, and I'm still not even bringing up Tobias Harris, who has another. I think he has 2 more years on his contract. All right, great veteran for us. Fontecchio, I think he's trade bait. But I think when you look at who we need to bring in, I don't know if we need to bring in someone. We need to bring in somebody. If anything, bring in winners. Bring in winners. It's funny because when I saw that PJ Tucker had gotten bought out, I actually wanted the Pistons to go get him. Bring him in and take those minutes. He does winning things. We saw in this game, tap away offensive rebound, right? To control the board and get another possession, switching on defense, being in the right position, boxing out, getting a foul called, drawing a charge, right? He does so many little things, hitting a three in rotation, stepping into it confidently, making sure he's maximizing spacing. He does so many little things that create winning. I thought that was somebody that we could have gone after in the open market when he was bought out. But he went to the Knicks. No shock. He went to a team, win it, because he's a winner. But yeah, yo, man, this has been a dope live. I see y'all tomorrow for the Bucks game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm forward to it. I think the Detroit Pistons need to build on this momentum and this energy. They have to keep it going. They should go. They should do everything they can to go into the playoffs, playing Detroit basketball. Win or lose, play Detroit basketball. Yo, it's your man 100 grams with the rock never stops. Yo, if you made it to the end, yo, put a little basketball in the little comment section after I post the video, and I'm gonna make sure to get to whatever comment you ask. Anything you ask, I'm gonna get to it. All right. If you get to the end of my videos, man, shout out to you. It's your man 100 grand Ross with the rock never stops. If you enjoy the video, like, subscribe to the bell for notifications, and I'm gonna get at y'all next time. Peace.